Hey guys, Karen from Any360 Fitness here with a little bit of coaching advice that I hope you will find useful and help you get set on the right path for this year. There's a term called periodization, which is really from the strength and conditioning world, training athletes in sport-specific situations, where you really want to look at the athlete's year as a whole and build their training program based upon their competition cycle and how they train, when they train, what level they're at, all those sorts of factors that come in. Now, as a coach working with individuals, whether they're a professional athlete or just someone who's looking to lose weight or run their fastest 5K, whatever that may be, there should still be purpose behind their training plan or their training program. One idea that I like to have for people is train like an athlete. So whether you're an athlete or not, or you consider yourself an athlete or you consider yourself not an athlete, there should still be purpose behind your program. And it's really helpful to look at your year as a whole. For people who are not training for anything in the sport-specific world, whether it's racing or baseball, football, volleyball, whatever it may be, you can still break out your year into very similar workout cycles. But you generally want to start with what's called a preparatory phase, or I like to kind of call it a foundation phase. That's this one right here. So this would be your prep phase, where you're kind of seeing where you're at right now before you progress, before you build upon that, and laying a really solid foundation. Once you have that foundation, then you can go into your building phase or your strength phase. So that would be this phase here. It's important to note that these phases or these cycles can range from all different sorts of time frames. So someone's preparatory phase might be really short, or another person's might be really long. So this is your build or strength phase. Now, when you're talking about athletes or sport-specific programs, you also want to focus around the competition season. All right, so that would be this here. Now, competition season may not be that long either. It might be one event that you're training for, and that's really where you want to peak. This is your competition or peak. And then one of the most important phases, these are all certainly important to an overall training program, but one that is overlooked quite often is your recovery phase. So that would be this one here. And again, depending on the intensity of your competition phase and what you've done leading up to that, your recovery phase may need to be longer. So you can always kind of extend these out. You might need a longer preparatory phase. Couple other keys here. The cool thing about all this is that typically when you're in these cycles, you have mini cycles within. So in your building and strength phase, you might actually have a little bit more of a foundation kind of for that next level up. And then you would have another building phase. And then you kind of like peak out, or you have a week or two where you're really showing what you can do. And then you still need to build that recovery in there. So you do that. And then you start a whole other like micro cycle within. All right, so it's important to know you can have many cycles within this whole cycle of a year. The other thing is comparing this to people who are not training for a certain sport, event, or race, anything like that. You can take this and kind of map it out through the course of the calendar year. So someone who just wants to feel really good in summer when they're wearing their bathing suit, they're at the beach, they're outside a lot more. This competition phase, this is like their peak phase where they really want to feel and look their best. So taking January, February, March is a great way to not really just come out of the gate so strong, but build that foundation, that solid foundation that you can then step up through April, May, June, really get things going, and then peak in maybe July, August, maybe even into September. This really can be tailored to any individual. And then take those fall, winter months to really just recover, enjoy the holidays with your family before you start over again. And the other cool thing about this that's important to remember is that once you go through a cycle, you're actually starting your next phase your next preparatory phase is going to be higher than where you were initially. So using these cycles in a smart way is just a great way to continue building on, which is something that I really like to teach people, is that, we're not starting over. There's no start and finish to your health and wellness. We're really on this continuum of just getting better each day, each week, each month, each year. So as you look ahead and you look at the big picture, keep some of this in mind. If you have some questions, you know how to reach out to me. And let's make this a great year.